Hi, thanks for watching. So I'm going to be doing something a little different going forward. Some things a little different going forward. I know as far as the social media front goes, I haven't been really present other than the random video here every once in a while. Those are mostly been reviews of the previews. So the books that I've gotten as advanced reader copies from Simon & Schuster or from NetGalley. And I used to have a Facebook, but I deleted it in 2020. Everything's so negative. And that was one of the conversations that John and I had recently, because we had been watching 1923. And as far as those shows go, the 1923, the 1883, all those, I was enjoying those. But we started watching the most recent season of 1923, and I told him I couldn't do it. And this is for the same reason that I don't read a lot of books like The Unworthy, which was a dystopian book that I read last month. It's why I don't watch certain movies. I don't like certain directors. I've always been the type of person who, I don't live under a rock, but I don't feel that my entertainment should reflect the heartbreak and devastation of the world. I think that I see enough of it on the news. I hear enough of it from friends and family when they go through something terrible or when they see something terrible. I hear enough about people being treacherous and terrible and brutal to people. I don't find it in myself to be entertained by that same shit. I don't. And so when we started watching the season of 1923, I was like, I can't do it, I'm done. And that is a lot of the reason that I quit Facebook. I think my Twitter is still connected to my Goodreads. Maybe it has a little thing, or maybe it wasn't Goodreads. What was the other? NetGalley. It might be connected to my NetGalley, because I think there's still a button that says, do you want to post this to your Twitter feed? But I haven't actually logged onto my Twitter in years. So, I mean, on the off chance that you've tried to reach me through Twitter, I'm not there. It's, lights are on, but no one's home. I don't plan on going back to Facebook. I don't plan on logging into my Twitter. However, one of my friends at work said that he wanted to read 1984 again because it had been a while since he'd read it, and he felt that he wanted to see how it held up after all the years that had passed since the last time he read it. And I jumped right on that. I was like, oh my God, me too. Let's do a buddy read. And so he was going to go to his local library. He lives in a different state than I do. He was going to go to his local library, and he's going to let me know today if he got the book. And if he doesn't, I think I'm just going to end up sending him a copy. But it got me thinking, I have this sticker on my Kindle. It's, try reading books instead of banning them. I have a shirt that says I'm with the band, and it's like the sticker, it's got different titles of banned books on it. As parents, we make mistakes, and I would hate for my kids to look back and find a mistake that I made had changed them irrevocably and irreparably. But we are human. And I think it's getting harder and harder for people to remember that their parents are human. With things like this, because everything's online, everything has a bright light shining on it, everything's kind of slid in that glass into the microscope view. But my parents, when I was real young, and we were living in Maine, they went to a Southern Baptist church. And if you are a Southern Baptist, please forgive me. I did not have a good experience at the Southern Baptist church. Yes, there was a person that I met that I ended up staying in contact with for a really long time. She was amazing. She actually didn't live in Maine. She lived in Virginia, and she would come to visit when we would go to camp. But the culture of the Southern Baptist denomination at the church that we went to was very disturbing. I remember watching something with my parents at some point. It was really disturbing. And then some of the things that they believed were unusual, and I'm grateful that my parents stopped going. And later on, my mom did tell me, that she was sorry for some of the things that she believed at that point. Because in my very early years, so like preteens, it was, you can't listen to certain music. It was, if there's a dragon on the toy, it's probably satanic. There, even Christian music, if it had a certain beat or way of it, like if it was a certain genre of Christian music, like I couldn't listen to it. And thank God they eventually got over that. I still am affiliated with Baptist, which is so different from Southern Baptist. So if you have gone to church and you've been to different denominational churches, you know that Baptist is not the same as Southern Baptist. I think Southern Baptist is more along the lines of Westboro, maybe. I don't know. Is Westboro Southern Baptist? It feels like they would be. And I have thoughts and feelings. Anyway, this isn't where I was going. One of the things that my parents never did, though, regardless of what point they were in their spiritual journey, they never censored what I read. And I've been so thankful for that my entire life. Okay, so yes, maybe I was reading Victoria Holt and Dean Koontz when I was 9, and maybe that was weird. But I've always been a weird person, so it is what it is. So 1984, I'm going to start reading this book with my friend at work, and it got me thinking. I have these things, these stickers and these t-shirts, and I don't believe in banning books. I have a huge problem with banning books. How many have I actually read, though, right? And so I went on Goodreads, and I got the first 4 pages, because there's at least 100 pages, I think, of banned books. And I got the first 4 pages, I put them in a list, and I put them in a wheel. And this is one of the things that's changing. I'm going to be more visible on Discord. I'm not going back to Facebook. You're not going to find me on Twitter. But I am going to be more visible on Discord. So once I start the Discord channel, I'll post that here. And Fable, I'll start a book club. Sorry, I'm having like old brain for some reason in excess recently. Like I feel it's happening more than it should at 42, but whatever. So I want to start reading the banned books. And so I've created a couple of rules, and I'm hoping some of you will join me on this journey. And holy stromboli, where did it go? Oh, I sent it to myself. Hold on. I gotta get to the sent folder. Okay, so I was looking over I obviously had to look over. I made a list of the first 4 pages of the banned books, and there are some on there that I would never have read willingly unless I held myself to some rules. So the rules are, I will include books I don't own. If the book was written before 2010, there's a 70 to 80% chance that I have it if it's a banned book. But I will include books I don't own. So if it's something I don't own and the wheel lands on it, then I'll just buy the book. I will include books I don't think I will like. Okay. Specifically, what's a quart of something and something by Sarah J. Maas. You know, it's one of those titles, a blank of blank and blank, a blank of blank of blank and blank. Everybody's doing it. I don't know. And I did see that 50 Shades of Grey was in the first 4 pages, but I will read it if the wheel lands on it. I will include rule number 3. I will include books I've already read, because there are a number of these I've already read. Lord of the Flies I've read. Let me pull up the list. Of course, I've read Green Eggs and Ham, which is on there. To Kill a Mockingbird I've read. 1984 I've read. Fahrenheit 451 I've read. Lord of the Flies, Brave New World, The Giver, The Kite Runner, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Diary of a Young Girl, Great Gatsby. So I have read a lot of these, but there's also a lot that I haven't read. So that is the purpose of this, is so that I could get more read in the banned books, and also as a bird to those who are banning books. And I hope you will join me on that as well. Let me see. Oh, rule number 4, I will include canceled authors. So I understand that there's an argument for art versus artist. And I also understand that there is an argument for supporting the person who believes things that one doesn't agree with. But I will include the canceled authors on this list. I won't be removing anything by any authors who have since been canceled, because I feel like that's a form of censorship itself. And it's saying a lot, especially when you consider authors like Neil Gaiman, David Eddings. Thankfully, I didn't see any Neil Gaiman or David Eddings on here, but I'm sure they'll make their way on here. That's another thing. I'm going to include the link to the banned books list on Goodreads that I pulled this from, but it is one of those ones that I think you vote on, and so it's possible that over the passing of time that the books will change. Rule number 5, I will not DNF before 150 pages. I do, just looking over some of the titles, anticipate that I will not be able to finish some of them. Particularly 50 Shades of Grey and the Sarah J. Maas. I might be wrong, but I won't DNF before 150 pages. So there's that. Rule number 6, if an entire series has been banned and I land on any of the series, because like Harry Potter, I think all of the Harry Potters are within the first 4 pages on that Goodreads list. So if I land on any of the series, I'm going to start with book 1 and just read through the series. Rule number 7, if only one book in a series has been banned, I'm going to decide on a case-by-case basis on whether or not I'm going to continue with the series. Rule number 8, I'll talk about the reasons that books have been banned, but rule number 9, I will not be talking about the author's issues if they're a canceled author. For example, J.K. Rowling. I'm not going to be talking about J.K. Rowling. Now, will I talk about Ray Bradbury? I don't think he's been canceled yet, right? If I read a book by Ray Bradbury, I might talk some about Ray Bradbury, as a person. But if I am aware of the author being canceled, I'm not gonna touch that shit. I don't care. I don't care about talking about that. I think that you all are adults. You can form your own opinion yourself. So that's my plan. Like I said, I'm gonna start the book club on Fable. I'll get a Discord channel going, and I really hope you'll join me on this adventure, these mini adventures. So, if you have any books that are not on the first 4 pages of that Goodreads list that you think that I should add, I will go back in and add them to the wheel. Oh, that's what I'm missing. We haven't picked the next one. So, like I said, we are going to start with 1984 because that's the buddy read that I'm doing with my friend at work. Let's find out now what we're going to read after 1984. Please don't be 50 Shades of Grey. Please don't be 50 Shades of Grey. Beloved by Toni Morrison. I haven't read that one yet. It's great. That's a good one to go after 1984. I was hoping it would be something I hadn't read, but something I wanted to read. So, good stuff. So, again, I'm going to post the links below to all the things. And thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Thank you for joining. If you're going to join, have a wonderful day.